my darlings, it's DarlingDTarot bringing you another pick-a-card reading. So for today, we are going to be getting right into this and asking the question, what will married life be like for you? So in this reading, we are not only going to be going over what the connection is going to be like and what your overall married life will kind of entail, but this will also be going over what your spouse will be like, what sort of characteristics or energies that they bring into this connection, what they might teach you in this marriage, and sort of how they see you as well. We'll go over overall energies of this connection and marriage too. So we have three beautiful options here. We have stack 1, stack 2, and stack 3. Now you can choose based off of the energy of the pile, whatever one, kind of catches your eye, or you can choose based off of the item that is in front of each pile. So we have for the first pile, this beautiful wooden cameo. Let me focus it. There it is. It is beautiful. So for stack 2, we have this beautiful pink, white, and gold cameo. And for stack 3, we have this beautiful gold and black one. It almost reminds me of like obsidian. So I will give you a few seconds to choose, but before I do that, let's take a deep breath in. Let's hold it. And release. And with that, I will give you a few seconds to choose, and I will see you at your pick. Bye! Hello to everyone who picked stack 1. Let's get right into your reading and see what will married life be like for you. So starting off with your first 2 cards, these are going to be your Wise Fool Tarot cards, and these are going over different energies in your marriage and connection. So we have the 7 of Clubs followed by the Queen of Diamonds. This would be the 7 of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles in traditional tarot. So this is really wonderful because we can see here from the Queen of Pentacles that you guys' relationship is going to be one that is very, very nurturing. The two of you are very self-sufficient, and I think that you guys can heavily rely on yourselves. You guys would be completely fine on your own. I feel like the two of you don't need each other to survive and don't need each other to live, but that's what's so wonderful about you guys' union, is that you guys are together just because you can be together, just because you guys love one another. But because of this, I think that at times you guys can disagree over little things. Maybe one of you likes using pine sol to clean and the other one likes using Fabuloso or something along those lines. But it's kind of small, petty things. It isn't anything that's going to make you want to toss in the towel, because we see that this man is still very much working hard to try and draw this apple that's in front of him. He's not giving up. He's not tossing out his paper. He's just kind of confused. He's rubbing his head and he's frustrated in himself. He's kind of like, I should understand this. I should know how they're feeling. And I think that might be kind of the situation between you and your partner, is at times you don't understand where the other is coming from. And I think that it's going to be really important to have kind of open communication with your partner in the future when you're married, because you guys both are very compassionate and nurturing towards one another. I think that if one of you is sick, the other one is going to pick up the slack in that sense and kind of help out around the house, do the dishes, kind of help out cleaning, things like that. And because they know that in the future, if they get sick, it's going to be reciprocated. You're going to take care of them as well. But you guys can both bring your own groceries and stuff like that into the house and onto the table. So you guys don't have to rely on one another for that. But I really think that the two of you really uplift one another. I think that this has a really wonderful potential in the future to have children as well, if that's something that you really want to do. I mean, that doesn't even necessarily have to be human children. This could even be adopting a cockatoo together, those really loud marshmallow boys. So I really think that would be something really, really fun even. But you guys are going to be very nurturing and very wonderful to one another. And I think it's going to be a very successful relationship as well, well. I think that the two of you are very work and career oriented. So that's going to be something that's really wonderful. I don't think that you guys are going to experience any kind of lack, and if you do, I think it's only going to be very like temporarily, like temporary moments, I suppose you could say. But it's going to have, this relationship is going to have its ups and downs like any relationships. I think it would be a little strange for me to say it's going to be great all the time, because we have those times where, it's a little bit, our coffee goes cold when we let it sit for a while, but we can always heat it up again. And that's kind of like how relationships go. If you put in the time, you put in the effort, it can always come back to life as long as you're watering it and giving it love and the connection that you want. So I really feel like it's going to be one that's going to be very solid. I think that the two of you are going to respect each other's boundaries, but I definitely feel like you might butt heads a little because of the fact that you both are very strong-willed individuals. So moving forward on to your next card, this is going to be your Starman Tarot card, and this is going over your partner. And we have the Emperor. Do you see how stubborn this man looks? He has his arms crossed. He's a little bit defensive to the outside world. He's ignoring a little bit everything around him. He has a beautiful kingdom. He has this beautiful castle behind him as well. He has everything that he could possibly need. And I feel like that's really what I was saying earlier with, you both are going to be very successful on your own, so you won't necessarily need to rely on one another. That's where your partner is really coming from, is the fact that they have already achieved so many successes, and I think that you're just sort of a bonus in their lives. They're really just excited that you're on the journey with them and you're experiencing life with them. But they can be very, very stubborn. I don't want to say that they're kind of short-tempered, but I think that, at times they might be. But this is kind of like that. I also feel like that fatherly figure who just is sort of like, I don't want to necessarily say rude, but they definitely have set in stone what they want to do and what they want to accomplish. So if it means being a little bit of a jerk to someone in order to accomplish it, that might be something that they would be able to do. But this person is very warm, they're very loving, and they're very protective. I think that the reason why sometimes they can do a lot of the things that they do as well is because they are very protective. I don't think that this is the type of person who is going to be like scary protective with you. I just think that they're going to be like, hey, maybe you should consider thinking again, rock climbing that really high mountain because I'm a little worried about you. Something along those lines. Like maybe you should take more courses before you tackle that big mountain, or maybe you should get some friends to go up that big mountain with you, or maybe I should go up the big mountain with you. So it's kind of that energy that they just want to kind of keep you safe as well. Because I feel like they're someone who's very cautious. They're very much on the cautious side. I feel like something that they might say is, you're better safe than sorry, something along those lines, because they'd rather be, they'd rather be a little overly cautious than to end up with some broken bones or even a broken heart. This is someone who has been through hardships in the past, so they really try to strive to not have to deal with that same heartache in the future, going forward as well. So moving on to this next card, this is going to be your animal totem card, and this is going over the energy that your partner brings into this connection. Oh my goodness. So we have the King of Cups, which is beaver energy. And look at how similar they look. Look, this looks like the same man. Like if we were to anamorph this man into an animal, it would be this beaver. So that's definitely your partner. And even if, if you're looking for like a female partner, this could still represent them. The Emperor doesn't have to be male energy. It's just sort of that masculine, like they are very strong-willed. They go towards the things that they want. Not necessarily with using their intuition about things. They're just sort of, they go out and get it. They're go-getters. But, especially with this King of Cups, they definitely have a goal in mind. They have somewhere that they want to get to. They have a goal that has to be accomplished, but they know it takes time. They know that everything is one step at a time, and this might be someone who is very meticulous and someone who it kind of frustrates you a little bit, because maybe this is someone who takes their time with getting ready. Maybe this is someone who is very, very weird about being to everywhere on time as well. Maybe they're the type of person who leaves like 30 minutes early, or like even earlier than that and then gets there like 30 minutes early and just waits. They might be that type of an energy just because they want to be punctual and they want to be on time, but they are very emotional as well. They're very mature in their emotions. They know how to handle their emotions and they know very much what they're feeling as well. At times, they might be a little moody, especially since we have this beautiful little lake in the background, and it might be at times with this dam, it might be hard for them to open up completely and to say like, hey, this is exactly how I'm feeling. Like, even though they come at this with a very mature vibe, it might be that their words get kind of jumbled up. They don't necessarily have the best way of wording things, if that makes sense. It just kind of gets jammed up in this dam, and then out of nowhere, it just breaks and it flows, and you're just like, whoa, okay, well, why didn't you come to me with this sooner, Dan? But I definitely think that this is someone who takes their time and they know that, Rome wasn't built in a day. That sort of a vibe, but this is someone who is definitely going to want to offer you their entire cup of love, but you do have to remember that this is someone who likes to take their time. So maybe you might be with this person for like a few years before they finally propose to you or before they feel comfortable with the idea of marrying you. And it's not necessarily that they don't love you or that they don't want to be with you, but they themselves don't want to put themselves in a situation where they're going to get their hearts broken because they are a little bit closed off. They might come off as a little defensive to the outside world. They might come off as they don't need any more friends. They don't need anyone else like that. But they're very warm. They're very loving once you get to know them, especially with this solar plexus energy. I'm really feeling like, yeah. This is someone who's very warm. They want to give you that like loving radiance as well, but with this King of Cups especially, there's someone who takes their time. So just cut them a little slack, if you find that they take a little time getting ready, or they leave a little early for things. They just like to make sure that they're on time. They're very punctual, and they like to kind of come off looking very orderly to the rest of the world as well. So going forward on to your next 3 cards, these are going to be your Witch's Tarot cards. And these are going over basically what your marriage is going to be like, just kind of diving in more. And, kind of just giving us some more details. So we have the 6 of Cups, the 10 of Cups, and the 3 of Swords in reverse. Woohoo! This is awesome. Okay, so with the 6 of Cups coming up as our first card, this is really saying that the two of you are going to have a very playful connection. It's going to be one that's very lighthearted, and you're going to want to feel like children again, to where you're always exploring, you're always kind of discovering things together as well. Maybe you're always traveling, maybe you are even going to each other's hometowns. Maybe you guys grew up in different places, so you're kind of exploring together and showing each other where you grew up. I think that would be something that's very, very beautiful. But it's a very lively energy. It's something that's very fun as well. And it's something that makes you feel very emotionally secure. I think that this is someone, like I said before, you could be having children with this person. You could be making yourself a small family, or even, your families really, really get along. It could be that you really love your in-laws. They love their in-laws. Everyone's just happy. Everyone's getting along. It kind of feels like a wish fulfillment as well. It's the end of a cycle. It's kind of like, what more could we possibly need? We are so fulfilled. We are so happy, and we're satisfied. I just feel like just satisfied. Especially with this water, it's so clean, it's so pure, it's so nice. And it's almost like drinking, a big tall glass of water on a really hot day. It's just so refreshing, and it's so wonderful, of a relationship compared to past relationships that the two of you have had. Because I feel like the two of you have experienced a lot of heartbreak or a lot of aches and hurts, and maybe even a lot of betrayals. Maybe one of you or maybe even both of you have been cheated on. So it was really something that really hurt you, that really kind of discouraged you as well. Maybe you thought, am I ever going to have this happiness? Am I ever going to find someone who isn't going to be a liar or a cheat or what have you? But you are, we really can't label everyone like that just for one person's bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? So definitely give this person a chance. They might come off at first that they're a little defensive, but it's probably because of this. is, it's probably because they've had their heart absolutely shattered in the past and they don't want to do that again. But in this marriage, the two of you are very safe. The two of you are very secure and feel very, very good in this relationship. Honestly, with the Ten of Cups, it's so sentimental. I think that the two of you are each other's best friends. You guys can accomplish anything. You can kind of face the world together as well. And look, I mean, we have twos here. It's almost like you guys are just best friends, absolute best friends. This might even be like a childhood sweetheart for a select few of you, or maybe even an ex that you reconcile with. But it doesn't have to be. That's just kind of what comes to mind when I see the Six of Cups. But I definitely feel like you are going to have kind of a safe haven in this relationship with this person. It's going to be a relationship that makes you feel very comfortable and very secure as well. It's not going to be one of you having to guess what the other is feeling. It's going to be, the two of you know where each other is coming from right off the bat. And if you don't, you really work hard to understand where the other is coming from and really work hard to kind of make the relationship continue going and continue to be like spicy, I guess. So moving on, this next card is going to be what they teach you. So this is your Glow Glow Tarot card. It's like a little holographic card. It is the Hanged Man. So look at that. I think that they really teach you how to kind of suspend yourself, to take time away from, maybe be it career or your family or what have you, to take time away from that and to just let yourself be, to let yourself be in your thoughts as well, to really think things through. I think that this is someone who really helps you to also become very balanced and someone who really helps you to make decisions, and not necessarily making decisions, because I think that you're someone who can make decisions very well, but you're someone who from this relationship, you will take your time and really understand what goes into a situation before jumping into it. And it's not necessarily saying like this is going to be something bad, but this is just saying that, you're going to really look at the fine print when you're reading different things like that. You know what I'm saying? You're going to really be looking for that kind of catch-22 or the loopholes and things like that. But it's really going to enlighten you as well. You're going to gain a lot of spirituality in this relationship. I think that it's going to open you up and kind of enlighten you as well. So I think that is so, so beautiful. I think that you really will learn a lot from your partner. So moving forward on to these next three cards, these are going to be your Wheel of the Year tarot cards, and these are going over how your spouse sees you. So we have the Strength card. Look at that. Followed by the Queen of Wands and the Six of Swords. Okay, so right off the bat with the Six of Swords, your partner sees you as someone who isn't necessarily bound to them. Remember how I said earlier that you guys are both very self-sufficient? Yes, your partner sees you as you are very confident. You are someone who can go towards their goals and go towards their dreams, and you don't need your partner. You have enough strength and confidence on your own to accomplish anything. Even if you yourself don't feel like you do, they see that in you. They see you as someone who is an amazing businesswoman or businessman. They see you as someone who is a go-getter, someone who can take the bull by the horns and really take a situation by stride. I think that they really, really appreciate that about you as well. I think that they see you as just this really, really intense energy. You might even be that really awesome kind of entrepreneur energy to where you could sell a car to a car salesman, that sort of a vibe. You could sell anything. I think you could sell water to a fish, that sort of a vibe. But you might be even like Leo, Taurus kind of a vibe. You don't have to be, but it might be somewhere in your charts. They might see you as someone who is very, very good with plants and with greenery as well. Maybe they see you as someone who has a very wonderful green thumb. But they really appreciate that. And they really appreciate that the fact that you can leave at any time. You're obviously not a prisoner to them. It's not like Beauty and the Beast, You're not like being held up in their their dark tower. But they do understand like, hey, this person can leave me at any time, but they're choosing not to. Like, how incredible is that? I guess would be the best way to say it for this person. But they really do appreciate the fact that you do stay with them and the fact that you do choose to kind of be in this relationship. They do see you as very strong-willed though, and they see you as someone who can go towards their goals very yeah, fearlessly. You're not someone who shies away from the things that you want to achieve, and you're someone who understands that life is short. I keep hearing kind of like YOLO. Maybe some of you guys use like the word YOLO, and you guys are like, you only live once, and then you go and do that. I don't know. But they definitely see you as a go-getter, and I think that is so wonderful. They see you as someone who is so like brilliant as well, someone who is so well read and someone who is so smart. I think that they could have a really like intellectual one-on-one conversation with you. And also I really want to bring up that if you are a traveler, maybe you travel for work or maybe you just kind of want to travel on your own, I think that they can trust you. I think that you're the type of partner that they won't have to worry about you going to another country, while they're working or staying home and watching the kids. And, maybe you're out on to another country or like in Italy with your friends or something. They're not going to worry that you're going to hit up like the local pizza place and get like a nice fine Italian cutie. Like they don't worry about that. They're not worried that you're going to leave them for another person because they know that you are very loyal, and they know that if you were having second thoughts about being with them, you would just come forward to them. You wouldn't go behind their back and do that. They know that you would come up and say, hey, I'd rather be with Larry, and they'd be like, okay, thanks, Larissa. Thank you for telling me you'd rather be with Larry. I appreciate it. Like I think that you guys can really come together and have a very mature conversation. It'll be something really, really wonderful. So make sure to just continue to be honest, like when you are in this relationship. I think that being genuine and being authentic is kind of the best thing that we can do here. So moving forward onto your second to last card, because then we will get into your tea leaf tarot. But this is going to be your overall connection card. And we have the Seven of Pentacles. Oh my goodness, I love this card. It's basically talking about, you reap what you sow. What you put in is what you're going to get back. It has taken, this farmer a long time to get this crop to kind of grow up and to kind of come to harvest. It's been a very long season, but it's been well worth the wait. And now this farmer is going to be able to cultivate their crop. And I think that is something so wonderful. It's really saying that what you put into this marriage is what you are going to get out. And I think that is very universal to the majority of marriages, is that, if you're putting in the time, the effort, the love, and the energy and the intention, I think that really, as long as both of you are really on board and putting in the same amount of energy, really what can go wrong, on that sort of, in a way, but this is really saying like you're going to have a lot of happiness here, and it's going to be a very successful relationship. I think that the two of you are almost going to be like partners in crime or like business partners, maybe you guys start up a little small business, or maybe you guys go to Renaissance fairs together and sell like leather crafts or something. I don't know. I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I definitely feel like you guys are going to be very successful together, and you guys are going to just have a very stable, very wonderful relationship. Now, this is going to take quite a bit of work. It is going to be something that you have to continue to tend. It isn't as easy as saying, oh, well, my crop is, it's grown now. It's fine. I'll just leave it. No, because it'll die. You have to keep working on it. You have to keep harvesting. You have to, this farmer's work is not done. This farmer's work is never done. And I think that's really a testament to this relationship as well, that, continue to keep putting in the love and the energy and the different little things that spice it up, So moving on to your last three cards, these are going to be your tea leaf tarot cards, and these are just some extra marriages. Extra messages. We have Skull. Hidden secrets can harm you. So like I was saying, make sure to have open communication. Make sure that you guys are really talking to each other and, not holding anything in. Pig, beware of greed, and Peacock, beware of great pride. Oh my goodness. Okay, so, as well, if you are getting married, I feel like make sure to stay away from people who you feel are going to be very, very greedy or very like rude as well. Because that might be a narcissistic tendency or a narcissistic personality kind of a trait, and that's not necessarily saying don't go after this person, but maybe bring it up to them, be like, hey, that isn't going to fly with me. Make sure to understand red flags as well, if you are, meeting someone new. I'm just going to put that out there. I feel like it's not going to resonate for everyone, but I feel like a select few, it really is kind of important for you to know. Also with peacock and pig, it's kind of like saying, don't show off to people just because you can. You know how people are kind of on Facebook and they're on Instagram and, all this different social media, and they're saying, we're so happy and we're this and we're that and we're over the moon in love and oh my God, nothing can break our unbreakable bond and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, don't be flaunting that. Don't be like making your marriage more than what it is. And also don't be looking at other people who are being kind of like greedy and pig-like, I guess you could say. Don't worry about that. Some people will post anything on social media and sometimes people lie. Sometimes we'll be like, oh, me and Herman went out and, we painted the town and we did this and that and this and that. And, chances are they did that 3 weeks ago and they're in pajamas tonight. So take everything that you see online with a grain of sand, basically. There is so much sand on the earth. Like, just don't even worry about it. Just, and that's really how you need to see it. Just see each Instagram or Facebook post as just one single grain of sand on a massive beach. Just a huge beach, and everyone's doing their own thing, and it's up to you to just be able to walk that beach and have fun and do your own thing, but make sure to be very open and make sure to really encourage your partner to be open as well. Set those boundaries. Say, if one of us doesn't feel comfortable in this relationship or one of us isn't happy, let's come to each other and talk about it. Let's be open about it. And also don't buy out of your means because of other people kind of flaunting what they have. Don't feel like you have to keep up with material items as well in order to kind of keep up with people. You don't have to kind of always be in the in crowd, and you don't have to make your marriage like everyone else's. That's why it's your marriage. It's not Debbie's marriage. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not anyone else's marriage other than yours and your partners. So make sure to really keep that in mind and make sure that, you're just very, very open in this. So yeah, I hope that you really enjoyed this stack one. Thank you so much for watching. And if you liked, make sure to leave a like down below and also a comment. I really, really love reading all you guys' comments so much. And also all my links are in the description box down below. I have my Etsy, my Patreon, and also my PayPal. On my Etsy, I have a whole bunch of different readings. I have actually phone and Skype readings as well, but I'm still doing my video readings. So yeah, make sure to check that out if you would like a personal reading with me. But yeah, make sure to hit that bell notification or bell icon as well to receive notifications from me. There we go. So that you never miss out on a pick a card or any other videos that I do. So I will see you in the next one. Bye! Hello to everyone who picked stack 2. Let's get right into your reading and see what will married life be like for you. So starting off with your first 2 cards, these are going to be your Wiseful Tarot cards, and these are going over different energies in your relationship or your marriage with your spouse. So we have the Fool card and the Strength card. Now, how awesome are these? Oh my goodness. So right off the bat, I'm being pulled to the fact that these are both major arcana cards. So, this relationship is going to be one that's very important, I think, to your soul growth and just to kind of your soul purpose and your soul mission as well. I think that this is going to be a really vital connection, and it's going to be one that brings a lot of change to your life. And it might be like when you guys finally get together, everything sort of fits together like a puzzle. You guys are just puzzle pieces that snap together instantly. And the fact that we have 2 people, or 2 beings in each card, it kind of represents that the 2 of you are going to be partners in crime. I think that it's going to be very few and far between that people see you going places by yourselves. Not necessarily saying that you're going to lack independence, because that's still going to be very much a theme, because we can see that each creature, we have usually a human and an animal in each card. So this is really saying that you both shine on your own, you're both very unique, and you both have your own things that you do on your own time. But I think that when you guys are together on your free time, you like to spend it together. You like to spend your free time together because you guys are best friends. I think that this is the kind of connection to where you guys can can go camping for the weekend, and you guys can go to Disney, and you guys can do this and you guys can do that, and it won't even feel like, it won't feel like sometimes people say that going places when you're married is a little bit of work, or it's this or it's that. I think for you guys it's going to be fun. It's going to be like children at play. It's going to be like having a forever slumber party with your best friend, I suppose. Now, it's not always going to be that way. We do see that these two are on a teeter-totter, so it is going to require some balance, especially with it being number 11. I'm being drawn to 2, and, the idea of like the 2 of Pentacles, this person who's kind of juggling. It is going to take a little bit of work, especially when we do have to juggle our career and our relationship, or our family and our marriage or things like that, but we will make it work, especially when we have the intention and the kind of the willpower to go forward for that as well. But I really feel like with number 11, this is going to feel like a wish fulfilled, and it's going to feel like a wish granted. It's going to feel like something that you've been wishing for a long time. Maybe you've always really wanted a wonderful partnership like this. You've always wanted an amazing connection that really uplifts you and really gives you a lot of confidence as well. And I feel like this connection is really going to do that. I think the 2 of you are going to feel very, very fulfilled in this relationship and in this connection. It's going to almost feel like a new journey as well. I feel like the 2 of you are always going to be traveling. You're always going to want to be experiencing new ideas and kind of new pursuits as well. Because with this card, it's kind of like we can go anywhere, we can do anything. And it's like partners in crime. Look at them. But it's kind of like going off into the unknown and just having fun with it. Not having to worry about it. I don't think that the 2 of you are, really going to come together and worry about a lot of things. You guys are just going to go and do these things and have fun. But I think that the 2 of you really even each other out as well, because one of you, maybe one of you overthinks things and one of you is very level-headed. One of you goes with the flow and one of you kind of likes to make a game plan or overanalyze things at times. So I think that the 2 of you really coming together, your energy is going to match in such a beautiful way that it almost feels like a transformation. You're going to be like, hey, let's go do these things that maybe I never thought I would do before, and it'll be so beautiful. It'll just be the 2 of you kind of facing the unknown and facing the world together like just best friends. That's the best way I can put it, and you guys are going to be so successful and so happy. So moving on to your next card, this is going to be your Starman Tarot card, and this is going over your partner. So we have the 4 of Cups. So right off the bat, we can see that maybe your partner is someone who perhaps they struggle a little bit with anxiety, or maybe they have a little bit of like depression that they, are really working on, that they really struggle with. They have a lot of blessings in their life. They have a lot of things that are being offered to them that the universe wants to give them as well. I think that they're just someone who has been through a lot of heartache and a lot of hardship. Maybe this is someone who has seen a lot of maybe family members have passed in front of them or things like that, that have really just weighed on their mind. Because with this hand, it's almost like you see how it's growing these tentacles down. For me, as I'm seeing this card, it's almost like this person is very much an overthinker. And it's like all these roots grab into their mind, and it's just like they go down this path and it leads to 5 different outcomes. And they might be all bad outcomes because this person is constantly in their head. They're constantly thinking, this is the type of person who's thinking, I should have done this, what would have happened if I did this, or why did I do that? Maybe they're the type of person who wakes up in the middle of the night as well and is like, oh, I shouldn't have said that 5 years ago. But they're very intuitive and they're very in touch with their feelings. I think that this is someone who's very emotional, and they're someone who, definitely I don't think that they're ashamed to cry or they're ashamed to be vulnerable in front of you, because they see you as their best friend. They see you as someone who they can be vulnerable in front of. And I think that this is someone who wears their heart on their sleeve as well. This is someone who's very sensitive and someone who can be hurt, because, if you say something even if it's something very trivial, it might be that they have a very overanalyzing mind to where it starts really to kind of weigh on their self-confidence and weigh on their own values as well. So I really think that, this person, maybe they would really flourish from this relationship in that aspect, in the fact that, you will really bring them out of that comfort zone. You will really bring them out of that, keeping yourself trapped as well, because look at that. I think it's your partner who keeps themselves kind of stuck. I think it might be your partner who likes to be in their comfort zone, who, doesn't necessarily like to stray from it. But I think that with you, it's really going to encourage them to step out of that and to really kind of go into their inner bravery as well. How beautiful is that? Yeah, but I think that they definitely worry. I think this is definitely someone who does struggle a little bit with anxiety. So kind of cut them a little bit of slack here and there. They might worry, about different things, and it might get a little frustrating here and there. I just feel like maybe they worry, like, oh, well, did you cook the chicken yet? Did you cook the chicken yet? Because it's been in the fridge and it's gonna get old. Like maybe something like along those lines. And you're like, yes, I'm going to cook the chicken, Jacob. Like, don't worry about it. But it's just little things like that as well. But this person they just really like to feel their feelings, and they really like to be in touch with themselves as well. And I think that, especially since they know what it's like to go through hardship, if you are going through something really rough, I think that they're going to step in and really want to help you. So moving on to this next card, this is going to be your animal totem card, and this is going over your spouse's kind of energy that they bring in as well, other energies. So we have the Five of Wands. So this is honey badger energy, and that's kind of like honey badger don't care, that kind of an energy. But I really feel like when backed into a corner, or when trying to achieve goals, your partner isn't someone who's going to back down. I think especially when it comes to pursuing you, I think that your partner isn't someone who's going to kind of be swatted away easily. This is going to be someone who really pursues you and really kind of puts in the effort and puts in the work. Especially if you're someone who kind of plays hard to get at first with this person, they're really going to go 110% in. They're really going to say, hey, I really want to pursue a connection with you. I really like you. I really admire you. And, they're really going to just keep at it, I feel like. And you're going to at times be like, oh my goodness, can you just leave? But they're going to be very, just persistent. And I feel like that's how they are in their everyday life as well. Like, I mean, obviously, if you told them, like, I absolutely want nothing to do with you, like, they would leave you alone, but I feel like if you kind of hint around, like, yeah, I kind of like you, I think that they would still really try to go towards you and really try to pursue you. But that's kind of how they are in their day-to-day life as well. As far as, like, if this person is going to university or with job, I feel like this is someone who pursues the things that they want, fearlessly. This is someone who doesn't necessarily worry what other people are going to say as well. I mean, they obviously do on the inside, but on the outside, people just assume that this person doesn't care. Maybe people on the outside assume that this is someone who's very snappy, who might be a little snarky as well, or, someone who is just kind of determined to go towards their goals, and then that's that. Maybe they're not someone who wants to get on a personal level with their coworkers as well, so they're just kind of like standoffish. But this is definitely someone who, if they have to, they'll be kind of aggressive towards people. I think that they're not the type of person who's going to be a pushover, even though they are very emotional and they feel things very deeply. They aren't going to, they're going to sympathize with people, but they're not going to take on other people's workloads. They're not going to do everyone else's work because they're having a rough, like, week or what have you. This is someone who is very kind of strong in, their belief system as well. They believe what they believe, and then that's that. And that's kind of what they want to go towards as well. It's kind of like when they have their mind and their eyes stuck on something, they're not going to pursue anything else, I guess would be the best way to put it. So I think that that's really, really awesome that this is someone who is, willing to go the distance and willing to go that extra mile for the people that they love and for the things that they want to accomplish. So moving forward on to your next 4 cards, these are going to be your Witch's Tarot cards, and these are going over more energies for the marriage. So we have the Ace of Wands, the Star, the Page of Wands, and the Eight of Cups. All right. So here's the deal. I think that the two of you with the star card here, you guys are going to bring a lot of hope to each other, especially in this connection. I think that you, especially with your partner, since they are in this Four of Cups energy where they're, they kind of dwell on things, they're a little anxious, they're a little nervous about different situations as well. I think that they also dwell on past moments. So I think that you're really going to bring a lot of happiness and a lot of renewal to their life. I think that you're going to show them kind of the bright side of life, and they're not going to dwell on kind of the heavier energies as much as they did before, because that's why I'm feeling like we're having the Eight of Cups here, is because this is someone who can temporarily walk away from the negative distractions of life, or can walk away from the really heavy energies at work or in family life or what have you. And I feel like maybe you're the dolphin in this situation, is that you're the dolphin that they can always turn to. Your playfulness, your happiness, your fun. You are that renewal. You are that hope as well for this person. They see you as someone who is very intuitive and someone who can always say the right things to them as well. Someone who they can always find comfort in. And I think that they're always going to be like that for you as well. They're always going to want to be that shoulder for you to cry on, because they really appreciate that you've always been there for them. They really, really appreciate that. You might really even have known this person when they've gone through a really tough time in their life, or a really trying period of time in their life. Maybe you knew them during that, and it really, really inspired them, and it really gave them a lot of hope to continue forward. And I think that is so, so beautiful. But definitely with this Page of Wands and the Ace of Wands, this is going to be, it's going to feel like a fresh new journey. You guys are going to want to go to new places. You guys are going to want to travel together. You guys are wanting to go and see the world together as well. I think you're going to want to tell all your friends as well, like, hey, we're in love. Shout it from the rooftops. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's not in the middle of the night and everyone's sleeping. But I think that even though you guys are going to be together on this journey, because look, a boy and a cat, even though you guys are very much together on this journey, it's kind of like you guys remain separate. You guys remain yourselves. You guys are very much self-sufficient in the way that if you guys are together in another country or in another city or another state, I feel like you guys would be comfortable with splitting up to see different parts of the city or different stores as well. Maybe you wanted to see a certain store in particular, and then your spouse saw one across the street, and you guys decide, hey, when we're done, how about we meet up again in 15 minutes? That's sort of a vibe. But I definitely feel like there is a lot of room to still be independent in this relationship while still coming together and really, inspiring one another. I feel like this is going to be a really, really inspiring relationship. I feel like you push your partner to be the best that they can be, and they do the same for you. If you come to them and say, hey, I have this really awesome business idea, I think that your partner would really push you forward and say, oh my goodness, we have to pursue this. I think that this is incredible. And I think, vice versa. I think that the two of you are really going to be the flame underneath each other, that really gets each other going. And especially with the wands, it's going to be very passionate. I think that especially, in the first few years of marriage, maybe for the first 5-6 years, you really can't stop like touching each other. You guys are really going to be very feely. You guys are going to always want to be together, maybe holding hands, maybe smooching, but always wanting to be in each other's presence as well. There's always going to be change though, and that's what's wonderful, is that this relationship is going to continue to grow as the two of you grow. If you continue to put in the time and the intentions, and you put in the energy as well. Because we have this butterfly here, which represents metamorphosis. It represents change as well. And this is saying that your relationship is going to morph into whatever it is that feels best for that time period or that time frame. What might be what good for you guys at 30 might not be the same for you guys at 45. It might not be the same for you guys at 67. But it's going to change. It's going to morph. And I think that you guys are going to find a lot of comfort and a lot of stability in each other as well. And I think that, if you guys aren't happy, you're going to have the freedom to say to each other, hey, I'm not happy, and then go. That kind of reminds me of stack 1 in a sense, because it also had that respect of, if you aren't happy in this marriage, I'm not going to keep you here. I'm not going to hold you prisoner. And I think that is so wonderful. So moving forward to your next card, this is going to be your Glow Glow Tarot card, and it is a holographic card. And this is going to be what your partner teaches you. So it is the Eight of Swords. I know it looks a little scary, but I promise you it is not. So basically why this is here is I think that your partner, like I said, they overanalyze and analyze everything, I said analyze twice, I'm sorry. But it just goes to show that they analyze everything, and I think that that really rubs off on you. I think that you're able to then put yourself into their mind frame as well, and able to put yourself into a scenario for a while so that you can gain a resolution or look for a solution to a problem. And I think that is so wonderful. This card doesn't always have to be something that's interpreted bad. It doesn't always have to be feeling like you're stuck. It could just kind of represent that this woman is keeping herself there for the time being, because that's where she perceives that she needs to be for right now. That's where she perceives that she belongs, in this circumstance. And I feel like that's really what you're going to learn is, when to kind of chill out and when to take a step back and to really analyze the situation. I feel like, because you might be the type of person who's very passionate and you just kind of jump into things and you just go for things, but your partner, because they overanalyze everything, I think it might rub off on you, and you might find yourself kind of analyzing things as well that maybe you might not have before. So moving forward on to your next 3 cards, these are going to be your Wheel of the Year tarot cards, and these are going to be how your spouse sees you. So we have the Eight of Swords. Look at that. 2 Eight of Swords. The Judgment card. And the Nine of Pentacles. Oh my goodness, beautiful. Okay, so right off the bat, they see you as someone who is very nurturing, someone who is very motherly or fatherly, but they definitely see you as someone who can take care of them when they're sick. They see you as someone who is going to stick by their side even when your partner is feeling very indecisive, or when your partner is kind of overanalyzing things or kind of keeping themselves stuck. You're going to kind of come into their energy field and say, hey, it's okay. You can have all the time in the world that you need. And I think that they really appreciate that. I think that they really appreciate your serenity, and they think that you're so peaceful, so calm, and they just absolutely love your presence. I think that they see you as someone who is very healing as well. You have just such a beautiful energy about you, and they absolutely love being near you. I think that they see you as someone who is very renewing, because we have this snow in the background, this beautiful snowy scene. So it almost makes me feel like, you bring a lot of healing to them. You bring a lot of renewal as well. And they feel very safe in your arms, just like being and just they're just comfortable. I guess would be the best way to put it. They're just very happy. They feel like they made the right choice. When they look at you, they know that they picked the right person. They know that you'd make a wonderful parent. They know that you are an amazing spouse. They know that you are someone who is just so incredible, and they think that you are such a gift to their life. They think that this is divine as well. And at times I feel like they think, how was I lucky enough to get this person in my life? They might be thanking their angels or their spirit guides or, a higher power. They're thanking the universe. They're saying, oh my goodness, let me focus that. They're saying, thank you so much for this. This person is so incredible. They might even feel like you're a little bit out of their league, because you are just so beautiful. You are so handsome. You are so amazing. And especially with the Nine of Pentacles, you're someone who is very successful, and you're someone who can bring in kind of your own successes and your own money. You can bring your own bacon to the table. You're someone who can definitely take care of themselves. And I think that in a way they see you as a wish fulfillment. They see you as kind of their hopes and dreams, everything that they could have ever wanted in a partner. Because remember how I said, especially with the 11, was that was kind of a wish fulfillment card? This very much reminds me of maybe they wished on a star a long time ago. Like, I really, really would like a partner that's this, and this, and then you show up in their life and they're just like, what? You know, they're amazed. They're just absolutely in awe of you. I think that they just think that you are a shining star. You are something who, like, out of this world. I think that they think you're otherworldly in a sense. You know, you are divine sent. You are almost an angelic being. They care about you so, so much. And they just feel so blessed to have you in their life. You know, we have all of this light shining in the background. So I definitely feel like they see you as this almost angelic being, this divine being, and they're like, oh my gosh, how is this person with me? You know that song, she's so high, high above me. There we go. Wow, that high note was impressive. That was like a whisper, but like, wow, okay. Not really the next Ariana Grande, but we're trying over here. We're trying. But definitely, I think that they're going to think that you're like way out of their league. You know, you're someone who's way above them. How could they ever get you into their life? And I think that they just think that you're so incredible. So yeah, I think that they just really, really like you. And I mean, obviously they'd like you if they married you. That'd be a little weird. But, you know, I think right off the bat, they know. Like my grandfather says that, you know, when you meet the person that you're going to be with, it's almost like a lightning bolt. He calls it the lightning bolt. It's just like, phew, and you know, you know instantaneously. And it's almost like this person was hit by the lightning bolt. Like it was literally, it struck them and they saw you and they were like, oh my goodness, this is it. It's like Grease, you know, and maybe you're Sandy and they're John Travolta. And, and it's just, it's great. It's a wonderful time. But I think that it's definitely a destined relationship. I think that this might either be, you know, maybe you guys have known each other in past lives, so you guys are in the same soul family. But I definitely feel like you guys know each other on a spiritual level as well. And this is going to just be a very divine union. It's going to be very, very wonderful. So moving forward, we have your Enchanted Tarot card, and this is going to be your overall connection. So we have the Queen of Swords, and this card talks about independence. So remember how, you know, I had said that even though, you know, we have all of these people that are together, we have all these cards that have almost basically two people, or a person and an animal, or like a lady and a butterfly. There we go. You know, they both shine on their own. There isn't one that outshines the other. And I think that that very much is you guys' relationship. I think that you guys really appreciate your independence and really enjoy kind of being on your own as well. You know, and I think that that's so wonderful about this relationship. You know, that's a really, really wonderful opportunity, as well as the fact that you guys can pursue your career opportunities. You can still pursue the things that you really want to achieve. And I feel like neither of you is really going to stifle the other. You guys are going to both encourage each other to go towards your goals, you know, because I think that you both have a lot of goals and you both want to be very, very successful. So, you know, if you keep each other from doing that, it's just going to hurt your home life and it's going to hurt your relationship. So I think that the two of you really just want to flourish and really want to achieve your own goals and go towards the things that you feel really successful and confident about. But especially with the Queen of Swords, I feel like with this relationship, you guys are going to have a very open communication, especially since you guys are best friends. Maybe you guys start out as really, really close, really good friends as well, and then that turns into a relationship and then a marriage. You know, maybe it takes a little bit of time to kind of form into this, but I definitely feel like there is going to be that closeness enough. Woo, to be able to speak your feelings. I feel like one of you might get a little tongue-tied because I was just getting tongue-tied there. But I definitely feel like if you can just get into a safe, comfortable spot, maybe go into your living room, get all comfortable, make some yummy drinks, you know, and get really close and just talk about your feelings, talk about your emotions, and talk about what's going on, you know, especially if you have any doubts or any concerns about the relationship. Make sure to be open. Make sure to, you know, really be forthcoming with your emotions and with your opinions as well. This person really wants to kind of know how you're feeling, so don't hold out on them, you know? Always make sure to speak your truth and to speak your mind to this person because they really do want to know what you're thinking. So moving on to your last few cards, these are going to be your tea leaf tarot cards. We have Diamond. You'll be receiving or giving or a precious gift. Oh my goodness. So definitely, I feel like, you know, With diamond, obviously diamond ring, maybe you guys are with this marriage, it's going to be a very, very beautiful ring or something along those lines. I don't know. But definitely I feel like maybe you guys really like gift giving. Maybe this person even really likes giving you gifts as well, especially with the Nine of Pentacles. They might see you as someone who is very successful, and maybe they see you as someone who already has a lot of really amazing things. So perhaps they don't even know what to get you. So they're kind of saving up and they want to get you this extravagant gift or something along those lines, even though you might not be that type of person. I think that you might be the type of person who's just happy with someone putting in the time and energy with you. So then we have Eagle. It says triumph over obstacles and troubles. Dolphin. Financial gain, usually coming from something you did in the past. Ooh, woohoo. And ring. A marriage will take place, either romantic or business. There we go. So there's definitely going to be a marriage with this person. And I think that this person is, they have a hard time, kind of coming forward and saying to you how they're feeling. Even though they can feel their emotions, I think that they're going to come forward and say, hey, I really love you. I really appreciate you being in my life and all that as well, but I really feel like it's going to take some coercing out of, their shell, I guess. Maybe this person is a little bit like a hermit crab, and when they get scared, they can just like go right back into their shell. But with dolphin, it says, with financial gain, usually coming from something you did in the past, this is really saying with this Nine of Pentacles, again, you're someone who is very successful, and, you guys are going to have a lot of successes. That's all going to very much pay off if you are putting something, kind of on the back burner, all of maybe your relationships and things like that to pursue a career. I really feel like by the time you're married, it's really going to have paid off. I really feel like everything that you put the energy and the intent into, it's really going to pay off. And especially with ring, this doesn't necessarily have to be marriage. Maybe you guys are going to be business partners together. Maybe you guys are really going to help each other financially as well. I think that that would be really, really beautiful. And you guys are really going to be able to triumph over really hard times as well. Maybe if you guys struggle with money, or if you guys like in the relationship, there is kind of a financial hardship, you guys are going to triumph over that. It isn't going to last very long. It's going to be very temporary. And I think that it's going to be something that, you guys can kind of cruise through. Maybe most people who struggle through that situation, they don't do it as gracefully as you guys do. I think that you guys would be able to kind of go through a really tough situation and still have fun, still have smiles on your faces, still be able to, take comfort in one another and have joy at the end of the day. Because I feel like for you, especially you guys, is that even though you might not have a lot, you guys still have each other, and that's still more than enough. I think that's something that's still so beautiful. And it might be that even your partner at first, when they see you or when they get to know you, they might see you as someone who, you really appreciate material goods. But when they get to know you, they really understand that, hey, no, you love sentimentality. You love people putting effort, people putting work in as well. You really love people, making handmade cards, making handmade gifts, really putting the energy in as well. But I think this is going to be a really, really wonderful marriage. And I think that it is something that is kind of destined. I think this is going to be a really spiritual connection. I know I keep saying that, but it's going to be something that kind of knocks the socks off of both of you. And if you don't wear socks, then maybe like gloves or mittens or something, something along those lines. But it's going to absolutely shock you, and it's going to go pretty fast once you guys really get to know each other, and once you guys are dating and all of that. It's just going to take off, and it's going to become kind of apparent to everyone around you that you guys aren't going to be able to live without one another in that sense, because you guys are so close. I think that it's just such a wonderful bond and wonderful connection between the two of you, and you guys can kind of accomplish anything and face any obstacle as long as you guys are, kind of in unison and in balance with each other. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this stack 2. Also remember not to get too frustrated with this person if they do get tongue-tied. Because that might be something that they struggle with. But yeah, definitely cut them a little bit of slack there. I think that this is definitely a wonderful person, and I think that you guys are going to have a lot of fun together. So yeah, make sure to leave a like down below if you enjoyed this video, as well as a comment in my comment section. Also remember to subscribe if you have not already. You can hit the little bell icon next to that so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. And I hope to see you in my next pick a card. Also, before I end this, I also wanted to say all my links are in my description box down below, such as my Etsy for personal readings, my Patreon, and also my PayPal. So make sure to check all of that out. I also have some other links in there as well, so make sure to check out my description box. And I hope to see you in my next pick a card. Bye! Hello to everyone who picked stack 3. Let's get right into your reading and see what will married life be like for you. So starting off with your first 2 cards, these are going to be your Wiseful Tarot cards, and these are going over different energies in your marriage. So we have the 6 of Clubs and the 9 of Diamonds. Now this would be the 6 of Wands and the 9 of Pentacles in traditional tarot. So starting off with the 6 of Clubs, this is a really awesome card because we have this orchestra, and they have worked for months and months and months to get this song right, in order to perform for this crowd. And I feel like that's really going to show what you guys are like. I feel like you guys are very determined. I feel like you guys are very goal-oriented as well. And you guys are very passionate and very fiery, especially when it comes to achieving your goals. So it could be as well that you guys have really wanted an amazing relationship for a long time. Maybe it's something that you've tried to manifest as well with the 6 coming up here. Because when I see 6s, I think of abundance, and I also think of manifesting. So maybe this is a relationship that you've really wanted for a long time, and then finally when you guys are married, it's like, okay, well, let's not throw away our shot here. Let's really put our energy and our time and our work on this romantic connection as well. Because I feel like this is going to be almost like a wish fulfillment for you guys. It's going to be something very stable, and it's going to be something that you really want to grow on and kind of build a very firm foundation. Especially with the 9 of Diamonds, we have this woman here who is sculpting her perfect partner. And this is really talking about you guys sculpting your perfect marriage. I don't think that it's going to be something that's perfect for the rest of the world. It's going to be something that's very perfect for you guys. It's very personal for you guys. You guys are very creative. I think the 2 of you might be very imaginative as well. Those that pick this pile, you guys might be musicians. You guys might be artists. I think that you guys are very creative in that sense, though, and you guys really inspire each other and really push each other to be the best that you can be every single day. And I think that if you guys aren't comfortable with what's going on in the relationship, you guys can always come to one another and say, hey, we have to make a compromise here, or we have to switch things up a little bit because it's just not working. And I think that the relationship is kind of malleable enough to where, you can kind of form it into whatever you want. You can warm it up and sculpt it into whatever it is that you want. And I think that that's so wonderful, is that you guys are so compassionate towards one another and are willing to make compromises. I think that you guys are willing to kind of make the change as well where you need to, because I think that you really understand that this connection is going to be one that you really want to put the energy towards and really want to put the work into. And I think that that's something that on both sides, it's so wonderful, because you guys are both, very much go-getters, but I think that at the same time, you guys might also be homebodies very much. You like spending time at home. So you want to make sure that your home life is something that's comfortable, somewhere that you can be safe, somewhere that you feel very secure as well. And I think that that's something that you're going to find in this relationship. You're going to find a lot of success and abundance in this relationship, but you're going to find a lot of comfort in this relationship as well. And with the number 9 coming out, you're going to find a lot of enlightenment within this relationship, and you guys are really going to help each other out spiritually as well. It could be that you guys also have shared past lives together, and you guys are kind of coming back together to have, sort of maybe even for some of you, what you couldn't have had in other past lives. This might not fit for everyone, but do you see how we have this broken statue in the background? It's almost like maybe some of you guys who picked this pile, you guys came together in past lives, and in past lives you couldn't be together for whatever reason. So it's like this is your second chance to be together in that sort of a sense. But you guys are still very independent from one another with the number 9 coming up. It's kind of like you guys really respect one another and respect each other's boundaries as well, which is so wonderful. Like, you guys can go and, put on a big concert because you know that your spouse is going to be in the front row cheering you on. I feel like the 2 of you are each other's biggest personal cheerleaders as well, which I think is so, so beautiful. Especially if one of you is having a really, really bad day. I feel like the other one is going to, go and make you some hot cocoa and, come out with some blankets, and you guys are going to cuddle and talk about the day. I think that it's going to be just a really really uplifting relationship and one that you find a lot of comfort in. But it's also going to be very fiery. I think that as well, with the two of you really wanting this healthy, really wonderful, open kind of open communication relationship, I think that you guys are really going to find a lot of comfort in the fact that you can pursue your goals and you do have a lot of leeway in order to go after your dreams as well. It's not like you're going to just get married and die, I guess would be the best way to put it. And maybe some people who got this pile, maybe their spouse or maybe them in the past had thought before, like, I would only get married if I can be with someone who respects my freedom, or, someone who respects that I still have things that I still really, really want to do and get accomplished. And I think that that's really going to be a wonderful dynamic in this partnership. And it's really interesting because if we were to flip this 9, it would look like a 6, and vice versa. I think that that's really, really interesting. So maybe that's even a dynamic, Oh, shoot, maybe you guys are like yin and yang then. Oh, yeah, maybe you guys are like kind of like opposites attract in a way. I know that's really strange, but if we were to like pair up like this 6 with this 9, it would look like the yin and yang symbol, and it's even the same color. So, wow, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe you guys are like twin flames in that sense, like not necessarily saying you guys are, but in that sense that you guys complete each other. You guys can complete each other's sentences. You guys can kind of read each other's minds without even having to talk, or that sort of a thing. But I think that there is definitely going to be like a spiritual connection there, and you guys are just going to understand one another. It's going to be very, very wonderful, and you guys are definitely going to be open enough to have that compromise. But what I do want to say is to make sure to base your relationship off of what feels comfortable and what feels correct for the two of you. Don't be basing it off of what you see someone else post on social media or anything along those lines. I had brought that up in another one of these piles, but I just feel like, especially with this 9 of diamonds, with this woman sculpting her perfect man, I feel like it goes to say in this relationship as well, make sure that you're sculpting your perfect relationship, that it isn't your sister's perfect relationship or your brother's perfect relationship or your best friend's perfect relationship or, your grandfather's perfect relationship. Like, it's yours. It's your marriage. It's what you want. So make sure that you keep that in mind. Sorry about that, my phone died, but we are right back on track. So going into your next card, this is going to be your Starman Tarot card, and this is talking all about your partner. So we have the King of Pentacles. Woohoo! This is going to be someone who is very mature, someone who definitely knows what they want and knows what it is that they want to accomplish in life as well. They have a lot of goals and they have a lot of successes as well, and they want to share it with you. There's someone who wants to kind of shower you in material gifts as well, because they want to kind of share their successes. They don't just want to be the only one appreciating these things, but with that, they are very balanced. They are very emotionally mature as well, and they want something that is going to provide them with a long-term stability, which is why, you're getting married to them and why you found such a happiness in this partner. They are very serious when they need to be, but they're also very playful and they're very fun. Just because they have that more mature vibe doesn't mean that they're a killjoy, doesn't mean that, this is someone who is going to be kind of boring. This is someone who is a lot of fun. There's someone who is very warm, very inviting, and very compassionate as well. I think that they're very empathetic to you, and there's someone who you can turn to after a long day. Someone who can just hear you out and really understand what you're going through. This is someone who, they genuinely like to make plans. This might be someone who would really like to make little dates with you, whether that be dinner dates or like to take you out to the movies. I think that they really, really love taking you out places and kind of showing you off and saying to people, yeah, this is my partner. Take a look at my spouse. I think that they're very, very proud of you and proud of your accomplishments as well. And I think that that's why they think that you guys fit together so perfectly, is because you guys both are very goal-oriented people, and you guys both have a lot of things that you want to go towards and a lot of achievements that you want to accomplish. Now, this is someone who is also very wise. Like, they've seen a lot of different seasons in their life as well, because I'm being drawn to all of these different colored trees down here. So it's almost like they've seen a lot of hardship, and they've seen a lot of, different kind of changes in their lifetime that has caused them to kind of gain a really good head up upon their shoulders, if you will. But this is someone who doesn't flaunt everything that they have. This is kind of a homebody, especially with the number 9. You guys might like to stay inside and just watch movies and hang out, maybe cook a nice little meal. A home-cooked meal and some movies is always a wonderful opportunity. And I think that you guys would really appreciate just spending the night inside and, curling up on the couch. But this is definitely someone who prides themselves on being a provider. They could definitely provide for you. They could take care of you if you wanted to just stay home and, or if you were laid off of your job or whatever. This is someone who doesn't mind stepping forward and saying, hey, I'll help take care of you for a little bit. I don't mind kind of stepping in and stepping forward in this role. This is someone who could definitely take on that fatherly or motherly role, depending, if you guys did want to have children. This is someone who would love that. They're very because they might be a little like parently to you in a sense, not like in a weird way, but they're someone who's always going to check up on you and like kind of text you and say, hey, are you doing okay, or did you make it to your work safe? They might talk to you in the mornings. They might make you kind of breakfast in the morning as well, kind of as a surprise. But this is definitely someone who is very mature and someone who is ready to be married, because I feel like for some people, you can go into a marriage and think that you're ready, but then you realize, hey, I wasn't ever ready for this, I wasn't ready for this, at least yet. But I definitely feel like this person is. I feel like they are not necessarily like marriage gods, but this person definitely knows what it takes to have a successful marriage. And they might have a lot of kind of inspiration in their family as well. Maybe their parents have a really wonderful, solid relationship too, and that really inspires them. That was something that they really looked forward to or looked towards, or maybe just someone in their family had a really loving bond and they thought, wow, I really want to have that in my own life or in my own marriage and, kind of utilize that into this lifetime. So I think that that's really wonderful. They are very career driven. These could be like CEOs, managers, people who are just very, very good at what they do as well. These people are very highly respected and they might get a lot of respect in the public eye as well. Not necessarily saying this is like Justin Timberlake, but this is someone who at work, I think a lot of people would be lost if they weren't there. If this is someone who takes care of people, I feel like maybe if they're having another nurse another night, when this person comes back on duty, they're like, oh my gosh, I missed you so much, or something along those lines. But I definitely feel like this person really, really has a good head on their shoulders and is someone that you can definitely call to when times are a little tough. Because especially if you aren't feeling good, I think that they really do want to take care of you. And I'm kind of being drawn to the fact that he has one eye. It's almost like, in a way, maybe this person is maybe they don't have a good like depth perception or whatever, but I'm also feeling like this is someone who's very intuitive. Like they can kind of sense out a situation and understand how everything's going without really having to see the situation with their own two eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like their intuition and the energy that other people put off is enough for them. They can just sense right off the bat if they're going to like you, what's going to happen in a situation, and so on and so forth. But they're definitely someone who is very intuitive and someone who is very spiritual, and they might kind of share their beliefs with you. And I think that it's going to be very, very wonderful, you guys' interaction with that as well. Because I think that they're going to really appreciate that they can let loose and be kind of weird around you, because maybe, the people that they normally hang out with don't let them be this kind of silly or, strange type of a person. It could even be like that at work. Maybe work is a very, kind of serious environment. So I feel like for this person, especially this person really appreciates that they can let loose with you and have fun with you. So moving forward onto your next card, this is your animal totem card, and this is going over your partner's energy. So we have the Justice card, and this is a stork, I believe. And this represents, justice is standing firm on your own 2 feet and being balanced. Remember how I said that this King of Pentacles is very balanced? Even though he's floating up here, he's very firmly planted in reality. There is no worry that he's going to just float off into space because he's firmly planted where he is. He's a lot like a tree. He has deep roots that grow into the ground, and he's very happy with where he is. But he's the type of person, he or she, they're the type of person who can definitely see every side of a situation, even when things are a little chaotic. This is someone who you would want to call on, in a really stressful situation, maybe times of panic. This is someone who can keep a very level head. Maybe they would be a very good firefighter or something along those lines. But they definitely do a really, really good job of staying level-headed and kind of keeping their mind open to every outlook of the situation. Because they know that there is more than just one version of the truth. What one person perceives as the truth might not be the same as what another one perceives, and vice versa. There's always more than one side to every story. And I definitely feel like that's how your spouse is going to look at things, is that they're going to understand that, hey, there's more to certain situations than people are really leading on, and I think that they're really going to help you understand that as well. But they're definitely a free spirit, and I think that there's someone who they don't want to get involved in the drama. I think especially at work, I think that they just want to stay out of it, but they don't mind kind of being a mediator, I suppose, and kind of seeking people out to get peace between everyone. They don't want everyone fighting. They don't want everyone stressed. They want kind of everything to just go with the flow and be happy and to just work out. They just want everything to work out. And, I think when things get kind of chaotic for them, it's look at his face. Like, he looks absolutely horrified, this stork, right? He looks absolutely horrified. He's like, what is going on? But he's still standing there. He's standing his ground, and he's staying firm even in the middle of this. And I really feel like that's how your spouse is, that there's someone who can take on anything. They could stand firm even in a hurricane. So I think that that's really, really beautiful. So moving forward on to your next 4 cards, these are going to be your Witch's Tarot cards. And these are talking about your marriage in general. Let me just move over my tripod a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we have the 8 of Swords, the 10 of Pentacles, woohoo! The Lover's card, and the Knight of Wands. Okay, so right off the bat, assumptions. I feel like assumptions might be strong here because one or maybe both of you might be very popular at work. You might be very charismatic and you might be very charming as well. So that might kind of bring a lot of people flocking to you, whether that be of the opposite sex or the same sex. It's just like people are attracted to you all the time. It really doesn't matter. I feel like people just really have that connection with you and, or your partner. And that might cause a little bit of a struggle at times because while you guys have the 10 of Pentacles, which is, oh my gosh, it is financial abundance, it is happiness, it is stability, it is literally everything good that you could possibly want, and it's coming to the end of the cycle together, and with the Lovers, it's like you guys are in this divine union, it's in this wonderful connection, but I feel like with the 8 of Swords, it's connected with this Knight of Wands, because I see the Knight of Wands as sort of a player. It's that player energy, that sort of I can be with whoever, I can do whatever I want, I can be in and out and blah, 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 but that's not necessarily their energy. I'm not saying that they're a player. It's just that maybe you might assume that they're being a player or that they're talking to other people when they're not, because we do have with the 8 of Swords, this is about this woman is stuck here, but she's keeping herself stuck here. It's kind of like these swords are a mental representation of the thoughts on her mind that are keeping her stuck there. So it's kind of like you have a wonderful relationship here. It's very successful, it's very abundant, and it's very fruitful. I feel like you guys could have children, you guys could have pretty much whatever it is that you want, but there are going to be a little bit of assumptions here, so you really have to work on that. You really have to work on going up to them and saying, hey, were you talking to Jessica from our class, or were you doing this or that, or were you hanging out with Franklin from PR, or like what's going on? So it's kind of up to you to be asking these questions and to be kind of straightforward with your partner. And the same thing goes for them. They really need to feel comfortable in order to come forward and say to you, like, hey, because this might even be on their side. Maybe you're someone who gets a lot of recognition, and maybe even you are getting, like, people are coming towards you and saying, oh, you're so charming, you're so wonderful. So maybe even your partner is like, what the heck? What's going on here? And it's kind of like hard to find that balance. But look at that, it's almost like she is so far from this castle with the two pillars that represents balance, and because she's so stuck in her own head. So make sure not to, go off of assumptions or to just kind of like assume that what's going on without asking people, or, really going off of your gut intuition as well. And your gut instinct rather. But definitely I feel like this is going to be a very passionate relationship. I think that with the Knight of Wands, you guys are going to want to travel together. It's not necessarily going to be like a lot of like big trips, but I feel like you guys will definitely like road trips. Maybe you guys will get like an RV or something and then discover like the different places in your country, that really make your country worthwhile and like worth seeing. And, you know what I'm saying? Like take different pictures and selfies and things like that. But I definitely feel like you guys are going to feel so abundant. You guys are going to feel so successful and so happy too. Like money isn't an option for you guys, or not an option, but like a problem rather. Money is no problem. Money is not a blockage at all. I just think that the only thing that might be a blockage is if you guys get stuck in your head sometimes, make sure to kind of share it with your partner and say, hey, I haven't been feeling so good about this, this, and this. Can you clear this up for me? Can you clarify? But other than that, I think that that's really the only negative energy that we're picking up on so far. But I feel like maybe your partner spends money a little bit more recklessly than you do, I suppose. But maybe that's because, maybe with them being so successful and everything, maybe they have a higher paying job or they're just making a lot of money. So, they've been doing that for longer, and maybe they were even raised in a family where money wasn't a problem or it never was a problem. So they never really had to worry about it, so maybe for you, it's kind of hard to let loose, especially, and maybe at times you're like, are we paying too much? Are we spending too much money on this house? Are we paying too much money on food? Are we going out too much? Like, what are we doing? Like, is there something wrong? And it might be your partner coming forward and saying like, no, we're good. Like, you have nothing to worry about. Like, we have enough money to go around. We have enough money to even give to charities. Like, we're doing good. And, I think that you guys are going to be doing really, really successfully, So moving forward on to your next card, this is going to be your Glow Glow holographic card. And this is just talking about what you learned from your spouse. So you have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Yes. So they definitely help you to release old thought patterns. And maybe that, is related to money. Maybe you hold on a little bit too tightly to money. Maybe you're a little bit frugal, and it's not necessarily anything wrong with that. I think that it's very wonderful to also be able to know how to live cheaply, I suppose, that sort of a way. But it's good that you're no longer holding on to money and grasping it like it's the end of the world, like you have no more money. And I think that's what I'm getting at, is that you are no longer going to have that blockage when it comes to money. Because for some of you that picked this pile, maybe you were raised in households where you didn't have as much as the other people around you, or maybe you felt like you had to hang on to every dollar. So I feel like in your adulthood, in this married life, you're going to learn that you don't have to do that, that money flows freely to you. You're really going to understand that what you put out there, what you spend, you are going to make back and then some. Make that one of your affirmations. The money that I spend, I make back and then some. I think that is so wonderful for an affirmation. Make sure to use that, because this might just be something that you can even start working on now, this block, so that it doesn't go into your marriage. But it could also just be old thought patterns. Maybe you were someone who has been betrayed in the past or cheated on, so your mind immediately goes back to that thought pattern and you thinking, oh, well, this person is straying. This person isn't being authentic with me. But I think that you're really going to learn, like, everything isn't people change. People change, times change, and this isn't going to be the same person that wronged you. So give them a chance and understand that they aren't the same person, but also understand that you don't have to hold on to these beliefs anymore, because that's what I mean by people change. You're changing. You no longer have to hold on to these emotions, these feelings, these thoughts, or, all this money. You can be like Elsa, just like start singing Let It Go. Like, you know what I mean? Go to Bath and Body Works and start singing that and just get all of the nice smelling things. But honestly, like, you aren't someone who's going to be reckless with it, obviously. You're still going to be smart with your money, but I think it's not going to be as painful for you to spend a lot of money, whether that be on yourself or, like, just in an investment-wise kind of an opportunity, So moving forward, your next 3 cards are going to be your Wheel of the Year tarot cards, and these are going over how your spouse sees you. So we have the Ace of Swords, the Four of Pentacles again. Oh my gosh, like, so you learn from your spouse to have it in the reverse. They see you as the upright. Okay. Look at that. Oh my goodness. And also the Ace of Chalices. How beautiful. So, I mean, with the Ace of Chalices, they see you as someone who is so abundant, so compassionate, so lighthearted, and just so much fun. They see you as someone who is so wonderful. And I think that they are just so amazed that they've married you, I think that they see you as someone who probably could have been with anyone. You're someone who is always looking for a fresh opportunity as well, and they just think it's so amazing that you'd still decide to be with them all the time. You're always changing yourself. You're always looking at things from a different point of view as well. You don't like to keep yourself stuck or stagnant, especially with the Ace of Swords. I think that they see you as someone who can speak their mind, someone who might be a little bit snarky as well, or like kind of sarcastic in the way that your humor is, but you're definitely someone who makes them laugh, and you're someone who can hold very witty conversations with them. I think that they really enjoy that they can have intellectual conversations with you, because they can't get that with other people. And I think that that's something that really draws you to them, and like vice versa, is the fact that you guys can hold such a meaningful conversation with one another, and that might be something that you maybe never have experienced elsewhere in another connection, but moving forward to the Four of Pentacles, it's saying like you kind of hold on to things. It's not necessarily saying you don't share your money, but I think that they're saying, you hold on to it a little too tightly. Like you aren't willing to, spend that extra 50 cents on something, or like maybe if you're buying a new phone. Okay, let's put it in this perspective. If you're buying a new phone and it's, they say, okay, well, it's $20 a year for the screen protection, right? You're going to say, it's okay. I'll just be very careful with my phone. I won't get the screen protection. It's okay. And your partner might say, but Samantha, we really need this plan. And you're just like, no, it's okay. I will be very, very careful. And whoop, there you go. Okay. No, I'll be very, very careful, and I won't break my phone like I almost did. And, you're just like, no, it's okay. I don't need it. I don't need that extra plan, and it's like it always comes back to bite you in the butt later on, because you realize like, oh, okay, $20 as opposed to how much it'll cost to get my screen actually fixed. I think that you really learn from this person, like it's worth putting in the extra money as long as you're going to be protected, or you're going to have an extra benefit coming out, and I think that's really funny. They might even see you as someone who's very secretive, or someone who kind of holds in their feelings, or even when you guys start dating, maybe they see you as someone who isn't going to right off the bat say how you feel about them, and it's up to them to kind of decipher how you feel about them. But they really do love you, and they really do like love the connection that you guys share. They see you as someone who is just kind of like a free spirit as well. Kind of like a daydreamer, you're someone who doesn't get offended kind of by jokes. You have a very healthy outlook towards jokes and towards joking around, which they really, really love. I think that they love that they can come at you with any kind of joke, and you'll just kind of like either roll your eyes or you'll laugh. And I think that they really, really love that. And, I think that you really kind of light the flame under them. You're something that they're really, really passionate about, you're something that, you really overflow their cup as well. Their cup of love is overflowing for you in a sense. So moving forward on to your next card, we have your Enchanted Tarot card, and this is going over your overall energy of this marriage. And we have the Queen of Wands, and this is talking all about inspiration. How wonderful. You guys inspire each other so much. And, like I said before, you guys are probably musicians or maybe artists. You guys are very, very creative though. So I definitely feel like you guys inspire each other every single day to kind of meet your next goal or your next deadline, especially if you guys are authors or something along those lines. But you definitely help each other, and I think that's so beautiful. You bring the creativity and the creative spirit out, in both each other as well. So I really feel like, with this relationship too, you can find a lot of inspiration from it. Maybe if you guys, are writing a book, you guys can bounce some ideas off of one another and really say, well, what do you think about this idea for a character? Oh, that's great. Well, what if they had this? Oh, that's awesome, And you guys can really think of something really awesome together. You guys might even end up being business partners or entrepreneurs. Maybe you guys end up even being traveling musicians. How cool is that? But I definitely feel that vibe for some of you is that, you might want to end up traveling where you're living and just playing, local gigs and different things like that, because it'll be experience and it'll be something new. It'll be something fun, because especially with these two aces, I think that your partner sees you as someone who loves brand new experiences. You love pushing kind of the envelope and going beyond your comfort zone as well. And they really, really love and appreciate that, because you push them out of their comfort zone too. So moving on to your tea leaf tarot cards, we actually have 5 of them. So starting off, we have Jug, lighthearted, carefree time. So like I said, you guys might be traveling and having a lot of fun, but regardless of wherever you go, you guys are always having a good time. You might always bring your drawing supplies with each other, and then while you guys are like hanging out, maybe you guys will just draw together or paint, or maybe you guys will just have jam sessions where you guys just play guitar together, But I think it's going to be a very creative, very wonderful experience and opportunity. Dragon, beware of self-delusion. So definitely beware of that. Make sure that, one or both of you aren't puffing yourselves up more than you should be. I also want to say, don't be defensive about little things as well. I feel like that's a little strange to say, but, I feel like for some of you, just come out and say how you're feeling. Just come out and say to people, because not everyone can be mind readers. The world would be a lot simpler of a place, but it'd be kind of scary too. You'd have like the mind police going around. It'd just be bad. So we have frying pan next. Trouble and accusations. Yep, that's why we can't read minds. But definitely, if there is trouble brewing, if there is kind of a hot situation kind of sizzling, make sure to really handle it up front. Don't let it just sort of brew and get worse. Rooster, an arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. So I'm almost wondering, if this isn't going to be your spouse, maybe your spouse is very overbearing at times, but maybe this also could be for some of you, your spouse's family members. I feel like there might be a particular family member, maybe that might give you a little bit of grief, whether that be a mother or maybe a sibling. But I definitely feel like maybe it's just their own kind of character flaws. It's nothing to do with you. It's just their own kind of a thing, is that they always have to be right. They always have to be the loudest. They always have to be the one that's being heard the best out of anyone else. So I think that that's really what's going on here. It isn't the fact that they don't like you. It isn't the fact that, they think that you're unbearable or whatever, but I definitely think that that's their own kind of character things that they have to go on and go over by themselves. So going forward, we have dogs, getting together with friends. Oh, it might even be one of your friends. It might even be one of your friends that's acting like that. Maybe when you get married, maybe one of your friends has a little bit of an argument or a tiff with your spouse. So it's really up to you to either clear the air or to say like, hey, you can come back into my life and we're all going to get along, or you can either just walk out peacefully. It's kind of like not forcing someone out, but leaving the door open if they want to come back on their own free will. And I think that that's so wonderful. But regardless, you're still going to have a lot of friends and you're still going to have a lot of good acquaintances too. Really go over with your friend as well and say, like, well, why do you feel this way? But like I said, I really feel like it's going to be their own thing. It's not going to necessarily be your spouse. It's not going to be you. I mean, it might even be your spouse. It might be the fact that they like seeing you single with them because maybe they're still single and they're still looking for someone to be with. So maybe they kind of act kind of rude to you, and rude to your spouse because they're kind of like, hey, you should be living the single life out here with me, going to the hen house. And they're just like, no. And, your spouse is just like, no, they're married now. And this person is just like really mad, like, yeah, well, if you weren't here, we'd still be going out and we'd still be doing this and that, and it's kind of like you guys still can go out, but it'll be a different dynamic, It's like you guys can still have one-on-one time, but I think every now and again, when it comes to big social get-togethers and events, you're going to want to bring your partner, and I think that's fairly normal, And, especially if your partner and, your friend have never even exchanged words and it's just sort of their own thing, I definitely think that it might be their own character flaws. So don't let it worry you too much, especially with beware of self-delusion. I just think that it might just be a kind of hard to handle person. A very arrogant, boastful person. So just don't worry about it too much. Don't throw water into the frying pan because it'll make everything explode and make everything worse. So definitely don't worry about it and just kind of go with the flow. Continue to be you and continue on. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this reading, Stack 3. Remember to keep a positive outlook and to remember that you have a lot of other really, really wonderful friends here for you. And you're going to have a lot of lighthearted, carefree time as well. But yeah, let me know if you like this reading down below in the comment section. Also leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. You can also hit the little bell icon next to the subscribe button and that will kind of notify you every time that I upload a new video. And yeah, I have all my links in the description box down below, my Etsy, Patreon, and PayPal. You can go to my Etsy for a personal reading. I have all kinds of different readings on there, but also feel free to message me. Yeah, I'd love to read for you. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this reading, and I will see you in the next pick a card. Bye, Stack 3!